But thanks again for the opportunity to speak to you for a second time. As Dirk said, the purpose of this presentation will be, first of all, to give you a very brief overview of our monitoring areas, which we are willing to tackle. And the second purpose will be to share one specific approach we are taking in the governance field. Obviously, I'm not able to share any data with you at this point in time as we have just started, but rather it will be more specific data collection plans, which, however, I hope or I believe are quite rooted in the local stakeholder needs. Yeah, just to remind you where we are based, it's in the southwest of Australia, in a region which has a surface of about 4,000 square kilometers and about close to 2 million visitors. Yeah, we invested quite a bit in understanding the data needs of our stakeholders, and we got precious input on that topic from a number of sources, including informal meetings, formal meetings. We did surveys to really understand what data gaps are, and I'd like to highlight some of them for you. Some might be surprising, and I guess others will be less surprising. And obviously, we have plans how to tackle those. The first one mentioned and emphasized, and I guess this is typical for many places, if not all, is that there is a need to have very clear grasp at economic data. The challenge here is the regional level, at least in our part of the world, as data is often available at the state level, and certain types of data are even available at the local level, like energy, water use, and that sort of things. But the regional level, the destination level at the end of the day, that's often lacking because it does not correspond to any administrative unit. So that was emphasized quite a bit. Another gap is seasonality data, especially if we go down to the very granular stage. And last but not least, although economic impact data might be available, we definitely do lack aggregated data in terms of business level KPIs. This might be very simple things like occupancy rates or average daily rates. So the Observatory will work together with Expedia and the accommodation provider to deliver some interesting data, I guess, around that as well. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to mention that's, I guess, basic is that there is completely no idea, no data available on satisfaction, neither on visitor satisfaction nor on resident satisfaction. So there is a lot of work to do for our observatory. In terms of satisfaction, we do want to go beyond these standard indicators like visitor and host satisfaction, but also include service provider satisfaction. So how satisfied are they with the tourism system in the region, and intermediary satisfaction. So asking tour operator, be them online or offline, whatever, how they see the tourism system, how easy it is for them to operate in the place, as obviously the package tours, but also beyond that. It's very important to understand, or intermediaries have a good understanding of the industry in general, as you all know. Tourist movement patterns is another important area which has been highlighted by the stakeholders. It is a wide region, a diversified product, and there's little understanding of where do tourists go and when, and who are these tourists. So we will employ a sample-based GPS tracking methodology to track them. But based on what I learned during these 2 days, I guess there are also a number of alternative approaches that we will take into consideration. What was highlighted to us is also the importance of understanding the penetration of local produce in the region. It is a region which has a high quality local produce in terms of food, but also wine. But there is no data of how much of that produce actually is used in the tourism and hospitality sector, and what's the percentage. So we want to use the observatory also to create awareness around keywords such as circular economy in order to boost obviously the regional economy to reduce ecological impact of food transport, but also to ensure a high quality tourist experience. Accessibility for persons with disabilities. It was good to see actually that UNWTO is heavily focusing on that topic, it seems, in going forward. It has been brought up by our stakeholders as well, so there has been insufficient attention to this area to date, and we will try to do something and probably also expand it to include food intolerances. I mentioned the importance of the landscape, so we'll tackle subjective perceptions around landscape quality, as maintaining these qualities is of utmost importance. And last but not least, it is difficult for tourism stakeholders in the region to get access to waste water data, even to water and energy data. So the observatory will have a role to disaggregate or aggregate this data and to make it accessible in a sector-specific way. As mentioned, we will definitely use quite a few secondary data sources, and in addition to that, we have plans to regularly run 6 surveys, some of them standardized, standard ones, resident survey, a industry survey, which will be a quite extensive one, because this will also cover topics like regional sourcing, accessibility for disabled people. So we rely obviously on self-reporting on that topics from the industry. So this survey will be quite relevant for us. Then visitor surveys, visitor tracking as mentioned, tour operator survey. And last but not least, and this leads me to the governance area, we are establishing a network evaluation system. So what we are interested in is to see whether the observatory can make a difference in terms of promoting collaboration within the region actually. So it will be a kind of a self-monitoring system of the observatory. We will employ network analysis methodologies to understand whether the degree of collaboration within the region has been improved by the establishment of the observatory. We focus on 4 indicators, at least to start with. One is formal collaboration, second one is informal collaboration, the third one will be the distribution of power. We are interested also to understand whether there is power shifting from certain type of actors to others, from more economically orientated actors perhaps to more those operating in the ecological field, for example. And last but not least, network density. So it is an indicator which simply divides the ties occurring between the stakeholders by the theoretically possible ties. So we do hope that with this small contribution, with this small analysis, we are able to make a contribution both to the whole group here, but we also think it makes the case for the observatory. If we can show that it even improves collaboration within the industry in the region, then I think we have another argument on our side to gain further support. Thank you.